Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Albert Chavez, your local real estate agent, and this is Archive Real Estate Brand. So today, I wanted to talk about how I can give some tips to first-time home buyers. So we all are going to make that first purchase, but not to worry. That's why I'm here to help. So let's dive right into it. Before you even seriously consider buying a home, you should take some proper steps beforehand and make a nice plan. How do you do this? Well, you have to make sure that you start saving at least 3/4 to a full year ahead, unless you have a lot of capital, which most first-time home buyers don't. You have to save a lot of money because houses can be expensive. The average age of people buying their first home is around 27, which means you're just starting your career. So we have to make sure that your credit is improving. And then you also have to think about your debt to income ratio. And what does that mean? Is that every expense? No. It's about your debts, like your student loans, car loans, credit card bills, something along those lines. So don't worry about like the groceries and stuff like that. You're only comparing like the big debt compared to your income. And you want to have that lower than 50% to make yourself have a better chance at getting pre-approved, which is what our next step is. Before you even consider buying a home, you have to make sure that you get pre-qualified and then pre-approved. So where do you go to do this? Well, you need to go to a mortgage lender. You go to a mortgage lender and you show them your credit. You show them your income, your debt to income ratio. You let them know how much you're thinking of putting down, and then you can figure out how much house you can afford. And they will, hopefully, if you do get approved, then that'll give you a condensed version of how much home you can afford based on that pre-approved loan amount that they will potentially lend to you. And since many people who are first-time buyers don't have the capital or the cash to just upfront pay for everything, then financing will most likely be your option and you'll need to go to a lender. As a first-time home buyer, you may have lots of questions, and that's why I'm here to help. So one question might be, how do I build my credit? It's a very good question. You do that by paying your bills on time, not opening up new sources of credit, because that will definitely diminish it, and you can pay back any debts from other open lines of credit that you have. Make sure don't close anything out 100%, because that could also impact your credit score. And you may be asking, why do I need to build up my credit score? Actually, it's pretty important, and I never knew how important it was until I was a senior in high school when I had an economy teacher who basically dumbed it down for us and said, your credit score is basically your report card as an adult in the financing world. If you have a really bad credit score, that means you need to improve. So if you're like in the 500-600s, you definitely need to improve. So the higher your credit score is, the more likely the lender will want to give you money, and your interest rate and down payment may also be lower, which will save you a ton of money. So it's really vital for you to increase that credit score before you really seriously start thinking about buying a home, because it will help you save a lot of money in the long run. So these are just the initial factors. Once you start getting all the financing aspect of it, you might want to ask your question again, do I still really want to buy a home? And I want you to really understand that not only is there a financial responsibility, but there's also physical and mental responsibility too. Home can be really time consuming at times. It does take maintenance and love and tender and care. So you want to just give that TLC and just make sure that you understand that you may have to sacrifice some times after work or on the weekends to take care of a home and maintain it. Once you consider all these factors, then you can take a bigger step and really start diving into the home buying process. So you can seek professional help and get a real estate agent like me, or you could also talk to other lenders or even talk to real estate lawyers and just see and ask questions. And I also recommend researching about the home buying process as well, and I will talk a little bit about it just so I can help you throughout the rest of the video, and shoot your questions below. Another reason why you should make a good plan before really thinking about buying a home is that there are a lot of fees involved that most people don't think about. There's closing fees, there's extra fees. You also potentially pay an agent for commission. There's mortgage origination fees, which is making the loan so that you can be able to afford the house. So there's definitely a lot of fees that you don't really think about, but you should consider when also saving for a house. I would recommend interviewing a few real estate agents as well and making sure that they are the right person for you. Because you don't just want someone that sells your home, you also want to make sure that you have a nice relationship with them as well. So whatever you have a preference with and whatever characteristics are best working with you, you should go with the one that makes you the most comfortable, because you want to make sure that this process is as smooth as possible. So once you find the real estate agent that is right for you, then you can start talking with them and communicating, build that relationship, and tell them what you're looking for in a home. What do you need versus what do you want? And then you can start diving in. Once you have that pre-approved amount, you can see how much home you have and basically find which location you are looking for. And this will help with the real estate agent find a home with you. Once we find the home that you are in love with, we can make an offer on it, and that combined with our pre-approved amount will show the seller and their real estate agent that we are great buyers. Therefore, we just wait for them to potentially counteroffer or accept it, and once they do accept it, then we can go into the next step. We can talk about other contingencies that may be in place that you as the buyer may want or the seller may want before we head into closing. And we do a bunch of inspections on the house and make sure that there's no underlying values, or once they accept the offer, then we can head into the next step, which is making sure that we head towards closing. And before closing, we can do some inspections on the property. And what does this mean? Well, when you walk through a house, there are some things that you may not see visually, but could be hidden and underlying, such as electricity problems, could be plumbing issues, roof stuff, because you usually don't check on top of the roof when you're going to a open house. So you just want to make sure that you do a nice home inspection, the entire property, so that you can be satisfied and safe when you get into your dream home. After you do all of these inspections and all the contingencies are completed, then you can go into escrow and go into the closing aspect of it. So I made a video on escrow if you have any questions, but basically all escrow is a neutral third party that holds all the funds in the transaction, so that both the buyer and the seller hold to their word that the seller will give the title and the buyer will give their money to the seller to make sure that the transaction goes well. And so escrow goes until all the closing documents are finished. So during the closing process, you want to make sure that you ask a lot of questions. At the day of closing, you will have your real estate lawyer, your agent, and you may or may not meet with the other party. So make sure to ask questions and get all the documentation there, and make sure you understand what the documentation is. Once we close all the documents, and then you set the date that you get to move in, then you can finally relax and move into that dream home that you've always wanted. And it's just going to be so nice, and the entire process is going to be worth it once you take a step and you have the keys to your house and you say, this is mine. It's going to be a great feeling for both of us, and I can't wait to help you guys. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Thank you.